Today, we're diving into a really profound piece of philosophy from 19th century India. It tackles a question that, honestly, we all think about. What does it really mean to have self-mastery? So, let's set the scene. It's February 6, 1826, in a royal courtyard in Vartal, India. The spiritual leader Sriji Maharaj is sitting with this big assembly of his most learned sages and followers, and he's about to drop a riddle on them that's going to challenge everything they think they know about wisdom.
And here's the riddle he throws out there. Look, a wise person and an unwise person both see, hear, taste, and touch the world in the exact same way. Their eyes work the same, their ears work the same. So how in the world can we say one has mastered their senses and the other hasn't? It's a fantastic paradox, right?
So here's how we're going to unpack all this. First, we'll dig into that initial question about the senses. Then, we'll figure out what it means to be a true master, a jitendriya. After that, we'll look at two totally different ways to live a spiritual life, see which one is considered better, and then wrap it all up with the ultimate takeaway.
Okay, so let's get back to that first question. It's a real head-scratcher, because, it completely messes with our usual ideas about self-control.
And you know what's so interesting? The wisest people in the room, even the super respected Muktanand Swami, they all took a shot at answering, but none of their answers really hit the mark. They were totally stumped. And that just sets the stage perfectly for a truly mind-blowing insight.
And that insight, of course, comes from Sriji Maharaj himself. He introduces this key idea to solve the whole puzzle, the path of the jitendriya.
So what is a jitendriya? Well, the Sanskrit term literally translates to one who has conquered their senses. But as you're about to see, this kind of conquering is probably not what you're thinking.
Here's the big reveal from Sriji Maharaj. The difference isn't on the outside, it's all on the inside. An unwise person looks at the world and all they see are things to enjoy. But a jitendriya, they use the exact same eyes and ears, but they see the flaws, the emptiness in those same pleasures. They don't shut their senses down. Their knowledge has totally transformed their perception. So their mind just naturally turns away from all that and towards something deeper.
So, this is the real kicker. Mastery isn't about blindfolding yourself or plugging your ears. It's a victory of knowledge. It's about changing your internal hard drive so completely that the stuff that used to tempt you just doesn't anymore. But just when everyone's wrapping their heads around this, he hits them with an even deeper question.
And this is where things get even more interesting. Sriji Maharaj asks everyone to think about two very different kinds of spiritual people, two renunciants.
So picture this. On one side, you've got the total hermit. This person lives completely off the grid, detached from society, just focused on their own soul. Then, on the other side, you've got the engaged devotee. This person is out in the world, serving God, serving people, but they have to deal with all the messiness that comes with it. Anger, greed, temptation. So he asks, which one is actually on the better path?
And these two paths couldn't be more different. The path of withdrawal, the nivritti marg, is all about I am the soul. The risk there? You can just get stuck, focused only on yourself. But the path of action, the pravritti marg, is all about I am a servant. The risk here is pretty obvious, right? By being in the world, you're constantly exposed to all of its corrupting influences. And to really hammer this point home, Sriji Maharaj uses this incredible analogy. He says, look, even if God himself told you to drink pong, which is an intoxicant, wouldn't you still get intoxicated? Of course you would. The point is, just because your intentions are good doesn't mean you're immune to the effects of the world around you. So, how could the engaged path possibly be safe?
And that question leads us right to the resolution. Because despite all those risks, one path is declared to be way, way better than the other.
The answer is crystal clear. The engaged devotee, the one who's out there serving, is atishay shreshta, which means exceedingly superior. But how? How do they avoid that intoxication from the world that he just warned about?
Well, the answer is that there's a framework. It's all about discipline. The text lays out this really clear four-step guide. First, you have to strictly follow God's rules, no exceptions. Second, practice moderation in absolutely everything. Not too much, but not too little either. Third, you have to actively work on conquering your own inner demons, desire, anger, greed. And finally, you dedicate every single thing you do to the selfless service of God and other people. It's this strict framework that acts as a shield. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. Let's look at what this nearly 200-year-old text is really trying to tell us about our own lives.
So, what have we learned?
First off, real self-mastery is an inside job. It's a victory of knowledge, not a war against your senses. Second, the path of active service, even with all its dangers, is way better than just hiding away from the world. But, and this is a big but, that path only works if you have a disciplined framework of rules and moderation. And maybe the biggest takeaway of all is this: the highest spiritual goal isn't to escape the world, but to figure out how to transform your role within it.
Which kind of leaves us with a final thought, a question to chew on. Is true freedom really found in escaping the world? Or is it found in mastering your role within it?